At Great Eccleston Show. Martin's here. I'm going to show you a little bit from yesterday and a little bit from today. It's not going to be the best of videos, but sorry.
All the contractors, Mr. Hollywood with fence. We did try something a little new with these fence. The variable tire pressure under the bonnet, shall we say. And this one is going to come with harder tyres. And then it's going to come back at the end of the class and lower the tyre pressure down and see what difference that makes. So let's take note of that distance. We'll see what happens when you come back at the end of the glass.
So that's with tyres hard, it's got to about here. John Deere now, how far is that going to go? Digging in now. Still going. Right, can it be 87.92 now with soft tyres? The hitch height's now lower, so maybe not. We'll see. Wait for the green light. Green. Still got a decent start.
Going out here now.
Got two transmissions, one driving the front, one driving the back.
Now it's where the tyre pressure makes a difference. It's going to go all the way to the metric tower.
No, it's slightly shorter.
Shorter.
This is the one we beat by 50 centimetres. But look at that drawbar height. It's like above my kneecap. Where's our tractor? Over here, let's go and see. Let's see what this is looking like. So we were on a pickup hitch. Actually, not a massive amount of difference, to be fair. But I think the case was definitely higher. But yeah, I think I did well. Harder tyres give you a higher hitch height, so it meant that it got further. We already had enough traction with the hard tyres basically, and it doesn't matter about damaging the soil structure because it's a track and they rip it up and repair it. But if it was in a field, if you can run lower, the better. Well, that's close. Get the other one out now, Jesus. Some truck that, innit? Right, we're back at Great Eck. It's daylight. Benji's had about 3 hours sleep because he had a party last night. See the bar at the back. And he's excited because tell us what's different from last time.
So you might notice we've got some new tyres. So
Well, we can't really because you've hidden them.
Proper pull-in tyres. Pro pullers built in America, but we bought these in Holland a couple of weeks, well, back in July.
And did you say that they're actually second hand, but they look
They are second hand, but they're like brand new. They've done about a year on a super sport tractor. So
why did they get rid of them?
Because they're changing into a different size for different gear ratio.
Oh, right, so it wasn't that they've just got too much money.
Yeah, probably.
So they're wrapped in plastic so you don't get it muddy, because from here to the grid is, what do you call it, the grid or the start line?
Start line.
The start line is a bit juicy, so when you get there you'll cut that off and you're ready to go. Oh, what happened in Scotland, did you say? You snapped?
Oh, in Scotland, yeah, we this little threaded bar that just holds the hitch tongue down on its height stoppers, it bent and broke, so the hitch was able to hinge up and go in a dead straight line with the chain, so the tractor just like kept rearing and rearing.
Really?
She went quite high. She reached for the stars.
Does it not need a little bit more substantial?
Possibly, but it's not. The pressure is pulling down because the chain is lower than the hitch, so it's just to stop it floating.
And that's adjustable, so when you change your tyre pressures, you can always have the hitch the same height?
Yeah, we have to legally. The hitch has to be set. When we go over the weighbridge, they check your weight and they check your hitch height. So it has to be at 500 mil. I don't know who came up with that. To the top of there.
The top,
so they've got a little peg they put in to measure the hitch height.
Because when we did it yesterday, we found that when we let the tyres down on the tractor, it lowered the hitch and gave us a disadvantage.
So, yes, it would do, yeah. So, and they also check you so that you don't go and blow your tyres up and then put yourself at an advantage.
Yeah.
In Denmark, I've even watched them. Every time they come off the track, they stop the tractor and they measure the hitch height to make sure it's not been modified.
Oh, I see, yeah. Yeah,
so,
nice one. Well, good luck.
No worries, cheers.
Do that again.
I've got to reset it, Ollie.
All right, just doing the scrutineer and just checking that his fuel cut-offs are working. The kill switch.
The kill flap that shuts off the turbo.
Oh, just shuts the airflow.
Starting truck.
The technical inspection form.
Short version.
Sorry, mate.
There's that flap underneath there. With Gareth now from Diesel Dragon and Nathan, but he's been shy. And Gareth's got the gift of the gab. He's going to tell us how straight the trees are in Finland.
Morning, Ollie.
Yeah, this is a piston. What was it, 3 or 4 events ago?
Well, this happened in Scotland when we were in Aberdeen. Spent a lot of money on trying to think if we could keep the tractor reliable and have new liners made. Unfortunately, they were not good enough material. The liner exploded, and then obviously the piston was going up and down in the bore with no liner.
And that was what was left of it? And
that was left, and the conrod was still on it, all in good condition, so we put the conrod back in.
Yeah, and all the bit, you can see, I've seen a mark on here where it's hit the side of the block. Look at that.
Yeah.
Because obviously I had no liner, so it was just kind of like swimming around in the bit there. And all the bits, did they come out of the...
Yeah, so obviously with the liner exploding, that was then open into the water jacket. It blew the water out, and all of the parts were in the front here, and we couldn't work out where they'd come from, but yeah, they'd all come through this.
But not all of them were they?
Well, unfortunately, we rebuilt the engine, and we then pulled another 3 pulls. We pulled again here at Eccleston, and then we did a charity pull down in Totnes. Found a little bit of a tapping noise when we finished the pull down there, and when we removed the rear head, we unfortunately found another piece of the liner that had sucked up from the intercooler, sat on top of the piston. Thankfully it didn't go through, otherwise that would have smashed our turbo, but yeah, we removed it, polished the piston up a little bit, so it's all back together.
There's a picture here now of what was in there and what it now looks like. So
yeah, so yeah, we sorted that.
Yeah, you couldn't polish that one though, could you?
This was a bit beyond the polishing. Yeah, a bit beyond the cleaning up, that one, yeah. Yeah, very expensive paperweight, Ollie.
So how much is a piston?
About 400 each.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And are all Valtra parts expensive?
No, absolutely not. These are special from America. These are from Detroit, diamond pistons from America. Same people who make the NASCAR pistons.
What difference will that be to a standard piston then?
Okay, so a standard piston is forged, so moulded together.
Yeah. Whereas
this is a block of aluminium, and then as you can see, CNC machined. Yeah.
And what about the rings? Are the rings different on a...
Yep, okay, so because we're oversized, a standard Valtra's 7.4 litre engine, we're at 8.3.
Yeah.
So we bore out, and so the pistons are special, the liners are special, and the rings are 115 mil.
Is it still the same number of rings?
We don't use the oil ring.
Right.
We don't need an oil control ring because we're not too worried about oil consumption. So it's a compression and top ring basically.
And just to explain the block then, the tractor, it's a
Right.
standard block. What's the rules like?
Okay, so the rules are you're supposed to use OEM block and OEM heads. There is some slight deviations on the heads now. You can have them reshaped, reformed, as long as they remain and look the same standard heads. So we're no different than a T-Series engine, standard crank. Everything, the shells and everything is all standard to Valtra. In fairness to Valtra, that's very strong. And then the front part here is 8950 because that's the fuel pump that we had with an inline fuel pump. The heads are 8950 because they're 2 valve heads.
That's Valtra 8950, yeah.
And of course
so before the T.
Yes, of course on your T-Series now we're multi-valve, so we're the 4 valve head.
Right.
But the bottom end, the block is the same and the crank would be the same as what your T-Series would be.
Yeah, and that belt, what's that driving? 2 hydraulic pumps?
Yep, so here we've got the oil pump, so we're external oil pump, so we're semi-dry sump. So we've got 2 oil pumps here feeding into the block, which also feeds the turbo as well. And then this one on the back of here is our fuel. So we're using about a gallon of diesel in 100 metres. And we're running at 2 bar on the fuel pressure. Then this pump here is our fuel injection, so water injection down through the pump, through this pump here.
What ratio of fuel will you put into water?
Okay, so we're on a 4 to 4.5 litres of fuel to 2.5 litres of water.
So nearly 50%.
Yeah, so our injection system, we're through here, into the port on every head, and then we got 2 in the front of the turbo to try and keep the turbo cool.
They're just misting.
Yep, so this actually squirts this way, so it sucks it back in, so we're not directly forcing the water into the turbo.
And that'll keep the engine cool, but also...
the idea being is trying to keep this temperature in this one here below 340 degrees. Then it goes through the intercooler and we'll be back into the manifold at anything between 30 to 50 degrees, depending on the ambient temperature.
So that intercooler at the bottom, is that full of water?
Yep, that's full of water.
So would that be an intercooler or a charge cooler?
It's an intercooler. Basically there's 4 radiators in there.
And you just fill that with cold water?
Yes, full cold water, yeah.
Ah. And that's, if the clutch blows up, that's what's inside that fiberglass?
Yep, so you got shatter blanket. We all have to have that, and it's got to be within 5 years. We're not allowed to have it over that, so it's all certificated. We have to have a certificate for that as well. Yeah.
So that standard block would have been what, 200 and something horse?
So yeah, like your T-Series, 235, 234, same block, 200 horsepower, or just over with yours. Yeah, and we're producing about 2,000, so yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? Is it a standard crank?
Yes,
wow.
Identical to what's in your tractor, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. That's a credit to Valtra, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that will explain why it's now called Agco Power and the fence are using it.
Yeah.
Well, good luck later on anyway.
No, thanks, Ollie.
100% British beef cooked in a bus. The Baz stop. Now this is going to be the fastest John Deere you've ever seen. Yeah.
It's got an orange cab.
Yeah. I'm at the tractor pulling and there's too many shiny things to write on. I don't want to damage anything, and I didn't want to write on the toilet, but we could have done like the birthday box. So I've got Rob's phone, so happy birthday Finley Hopper. Hooper, sorry, is 4. Charlie Stainfoot, 14. Darren Higgins, happy birthday. Alan Ferguson. Gavin Collier. And then I've just dropped Rob's phone, nearly. Henry Timmis. Amy Ryans. Harry Priest. It's happy 16th. Eddie Redmayne's birthday.
I don't believe it.
It's Reese's 30th, and Joe and Charlotte are running around in the background. But that is all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Snoopy is getting recovered, and Martin just wants to say a few words.
Yeah, would like to say hello to Tony Hall. Sadly, he lost his penknife this morning, bedding the cattle down, and he doesn't know where to find it. If you want to drop in on him tomorrow, give him a penknife. He's lost his penknife. He's so upset. He's had it for years. He used to peel apples with it. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.